Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another episode of The Journey with Ammar Sheikh, where we explore stories of achievers, believers, change makers, and dreamers. Every person's life is a story, some told, some untold. Today we are going to unfold one of those, keeping it raw, real, and inspiring. Today on The Journey, we sit down with a man whose story is a masterclass in perseverance, humility, and the power of refusing to give up. Born and raised in a modest middle-class household, Mr. Laiq Mirza enjoyed a simple, decent childhood. Thanks to a father who was well established in his transportation business back in the early 1950s, but life took a dramatic turn. When Mr. Laiq completed his high school, his father's business collapsed, and overnight the burden of responsibility shifted onto young shoulders. He had dreams, he had ambition, but suddenly he also had a family depending on him. With finances tight and uncertainty all around, Mr. Laiq didn't surrender. He pushed forward, working, studying, supporting his parents, and eventually earned an MBA in finance from a premier business school. Along the way, he built a family of his own, supporting his spouse, daughter, and 4 children with unwavering commitment. Starting his career at the very bottom of development finance institution, Mr. Laiq slowly carved his path upward. Through grit, intellect, and sheer consistency, he specialized in restructuring and rehabilitating non-performing industrial projects. Over the next 3 decades, Mr. Laiq served in 3 major DFIs, rising from one of the lowest starting positions to be the head of 2 divisions. He often describes his journey as from nowhere to somewhere. But here's where it gets more fascinating. At the height of his career, serving as the vice president, earning a handsome salary, enjoying prestige, influence, and elite club memberships, Mr. Laiq made a decision few would dare to make. He resigned. He walked away from comfort, stability, and status, and chose to migrate to Canada to start a brand new chapter in his journey. Let's explore more on that. Why did he do that? And what compelled him? And how did he really rebuild again? कहानी उनकी नहीं जो हार मान जाएं, कहानी उनकी है जो टूट कर संभल जाएं। ये वो शख्स हैं जिन्होंने आसाइश में आँख खोली और आजमाइश में जवान हुए। जब साया छिन गया तो वो खुद साया बन गए, जब सहारा टूटा तो वो खुद सहारा बन गए। ख्वाब उनके थे मगर जिम्मेदारियाँ ख्वाबों से बड़ी निकलीं। फिर भी उन्होंने ख्वाब देखने नहीं छोड़े और जिम्मेदारियों से नहीं भागे। वक्त ने रोका, हालात ने आजमाया, लेकिन हौसले उन्होंने कभी नहीं छोड़ा। ये सफ़र है खामोश मेहनत का, लंबी बर्दाश्त का और मुसलसल उठ खड़े होने का। जैसा कि वो खुद कहते हैं, from nowhere to somewhere. Let's deep dive on his journey that proves one universal truth. You are never defined by where you started, but how far you are willing to go up. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the story of resilience, the journey of reinvention, and a journey from nowhere to somewhere. Let's welcome Mr. Laiq Mirza on the show. Assalamu alaikum, welcome on the show, sir.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And thank you, Ammar, for having me on your show. Like, I was trying to be here earlier, but due to so many reasons, we couldn't meet earlier, but it's never too late.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you for taking time out. I know you had some health concerns, and I'm so glad that you're back healthy, alhamdulillah, and we are sitting down over here.
Alhamdulillah.
Absolutely. So let's start the show.
Sure.
First question to you. How did your journey begin?
My journey, before I go into my journey, I'd like to mention that where we came from. My parents, Allah Ta'ala Jannat Nasib Kare, they migrated along with their two daughters and a son from a place known as Alwar State near Delhi, and they migrated to Lahore even before the partition.
Mm-hmm.
So soon after, the family moved down south to Karachi to call it their home. I was born in Karachi, raised in Karachi, and that's where my journey began.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, let's talk more about your early days. How was your childhood and what was your family background like?
Before I talk about my childhood, I'd like to mention a few things about my father,
Please do.
who was the focal point, and he was my inspiration during my childhood. So my father was a very staunch, practicing religious person.
Mm-hmm.
And he was very respected in the community. He went for Hajj in 1958. He went for Hajj in 1958. And you know, in those days, Hajj was not as easy as we can perform nowadays.
True.
It was traveling in those ocean liners, and Hajj was supposed to be like in a span of 2-3 months, and lots of traveling on foot, on camelbacks, and so it wasn't easy. His name was actually Mirza Bashir Beg, but no one called him by his name, but out of respect, they just called him Haji Sahab. And Haji Sahab, you know, he was, as far as literacy goes, he was perfect in Urdu, speaking, reading, writing. He could read Arabic as well. But when it came to English, that was his drawback. And he was so conscious of it that he thought that my kids should not have this deficiency. For that reason, he sent me and my elder brother to a church school known as Saint Philomena. Now look here, Haji Saab sending his kids to a church,
school, right.
But he says that no matter what, wherever you can gain knowledge, you should go. So, but that school, Saint Philomena, was at a distance from where we were living. So we were sent to live with a grandma who was living near to the school, and it was walking distance from there. So for 5 years, we lived with a grandma. And after the primary basic education, my father admitted us, both of us, me and my elder brother, in BVS Parsi High School.
Okay.
And that school was established in 1859. Just imagine, like more than 160 years now. It was a marvelous school. And the teachers were real educators. They took care of the child's, all the needs of a child. Like be it intellect, be it social, moral, physical, you name it, they did it. Like if any skills were to be developed, character building. Actually, our father was grooming us to grow up and join his business. So he was in the transport business, as you just mentioned. I'll just subclassify it. He was in the loading truck business.
Right.
So what happened was, in those days, in the early 50s and late 50s and early 60s, trucks were not manufactured in Pakistan. So he had to import chassis of the truck from UK.
Okay.
So that involved a lot of financing. And for that reason, he had to go into partnerships. He had to sign some MOUs, some contracts, some agreements, and those were all in English.
Right.
And that's where he got dependent on others. So that's the reason he made sure that we should know how to talk, speak, write, understand English.
Okay.
Apart from that, we were also reading and understanding Arabic, because he had asked a teacher to come and teach us Arabic at home.
Okay.
So when in school, my goal was to go for my bachelor's in commerce and then help my father in his business. At that time, and I would still say that I was a shy child, a very introvert child. I was very picky in making friends, and that's the reason I have very few friends.
Interesting, very, very strong. I could relate to how you were talking about your father and reminiscing your old days. Sir, what were your biggest early challenges?
As soon as you just mentioned in the intro, as soon as I completed my 10th grade, which is metric, my father's business had already collapsed.
Okay.
And there were two reasons for the collapse. One was that a newly built truck, I still remember the name, it was a Thames trader imported from UK. And in the first month of its operation, it met with an accident.
Oh.
And the second was that the agent who was importing the truck for my father, and he had taken advance for another truck, Bedford J4, he declared bankruptcy. So now the litigations started, and lengthy litigations. So the dream of me joining my father in his business, it just failed. So at the age of 16, I had to look for a job so that I could support my family and I could further support my education, because my dream was to first go for my bachelor's in commerce, and then previously I was thinking of helping my father, but now I wanted to build myself on my own.
All right.
So for that reason, and again I'll say that my father was the one who helped me even in getting that job, because he had put us in that school where we were taught how to type in grade 9 and 10. And in those days, there were those heavy typewriters with long carriages, and we were typing like touch system. Very few could do that.
Right.
So because of that skill, I got a job in a private company. And as soon as I got the job, I took admission in a college in the evening classes to get my bachelor's in commerce. So this struggle continued, like working throughout the day, studying in the evenings. And after I completed my BCom, and again when I was in my BCom, I had one more goal to reach, and that was MBA and a job in the bank.
Right.
Because there, if I joined a bank, I could even write the banking diploma exams as well, which others can't do.
Right.
So that was the goal. But after a year of my graduation, my family said we should get married.
Okay.
So I I got married at the age of 22.
Oh.
So then my responsibilities grew even more.
I can imagine. Yeah.
But you know, I was lucky that I found a wife who was very content, and she never demanded anything from me which I could not fulfill. And she had a very important role to play in my career building, and later on how the family was built by her.
Right.
So I think these are the challenges which started from metric, and they are still continuing.
Yeah, I think that's how they say the challenges never end.
They
It's
never
like
end.
they take different shapes in life.
Of course.
And very inspiring, sir. Thank you so much for sharing that. Any particular moment you felt like giving up, and how did you overcome that?
Ammar, giving up would mean accepting defeat. So that I never did. And of course my father's backing was there, and there was a poem which I learned in my probably grade 5. It was 1959, I recall. So if you would allow me, and if you have time, I can just...
Please, it'll be a pleasure.
So the poem went like this: I'm going to build me a rocket ship, and then I shall go on a long, long trip to Jupiter, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. Much faster than sound I shall go by the stars.
Okay.
Oh, what fun it will be, no one there but me. I don't know just when I'll get back again. Far over the earth I shall disappear, to journey about in the stratosphere. And if I am lucky some fine afternoon, with special equipment I land on the moon. So this poem was so much related to me because it was the same year when I completed my bachelor's in commerce.
Right.
It was also 1969. And I still remember I had a transistor radio with my ears, and there was a live commentary coming from NASA that the Eagle has landed. So the Eagle landed 10 years after I learned this poem.
Right.
The Eagle landed in July of 1969. And this poem, I still keep teaching my grandkids that this was my, motivation.
Motivation, right.
Yeah.
No, that is remarkable. And the way you were telling us about your poetry, I could sense the, the passion of, and, I'm sure that it must have been a beautiful moments and memory back then.
Sure.
Thank you so much for sharing that. So before we go on to the break, I have a quick question to you. What was the turning point or breakthrough that changed everything?
Right. So the turning point was, I wonder if I mentioned this before or not, as soon as, after getting married, I was looking for a job in a bank.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I said. But I couldn't find a reasonable job. But the job which was available was a typist job in a bank. I accepted that typist job after even my BCom degree. And immediately I took admission for my MBA at IBM.
Right.
So when I completed my PGD in business administration, PGD means postgraduate diploma in business administration, which is 50% of the course load of MBA.
Mm-hmm.
When I completed that, I was jumped up the ladder in the bank. Like from the position of typist, I went to junior clerk, senior clerk, supervisor, junior officer. So half of the MBA took me to the position of junior officer.
Right.
Now I was up from the staff level to the officer cadre, where I could have a broader perspective of the bank's operations, and I could also see light at the end of the tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the turning point in my life, that something good is going to happen now.
Okay, excellent. On that wonderful note, we'll be taking a short break. Stay with us. We are still discovering the story of Mr. Laiq Mirza as he was able to see the light towards the end of the tunnel. I would say the eagle is coming. So shall we wait on that? Come back after the break. Join us on the journey with Ammar Sheikh. Thank you. Welcome back to the journey with Ammar Sheikh, where we are discovering the story of Mr. Laiq Mirza, the story of perseverance, story of not giving up. Let's understand and learn more about him. Sir, how are you?
I'm fine.
I hope you could take some breathe in your resting time on the break.
Sure, sure.
Mr. Laiq, we are on the second segment. We will talk about the achievements and how you're giving back to the community, which is the most important segment. But thank you for your introduction, your background, and your early challenges so far. So starting with, what's your proudest achievement so far?
Ammar, after being awarded my MBA degree, and I reached a position which you already mentioned in the intro, that I was division head of 2 departments. After that hard-earned position, after that hard-earned authority, I sacrificed that position for the sake of my future generation. And I call it achievement. Sacrificing for my future generation was an achievement. And I flew with all the 9 family members to Canada in one flight. 6 boys, handsome boys, a beautiful girl, and a caring wife. We all came to Canada to make it our home. With me, I had already sacrificed.
Sorry, what year was that?
That was 1996.
96.
It was 28th of May 1996. I still remember that. So, but my family did not let me down. Now I have 3 power engineers, 1 CPA CGA, one IT specialist, one working as officer with the Canadian Border Services Agency, and above all, my daughter, she was a BSc in home economics before, and she is an alima now. She teaches Arabic grammar, she teaches tajweed online and free of cost.
MashaAllah, very nice.
Alhamdulillah. And then the family started to grow. So my son-in-law, a very handsome guy, he is a power engineer too.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the inclusion of 6 beautiful daughters-in-law, one from Islamabad, one from Lahore, one from Nawab Shah, one from Karachi, one from Saudi Arabia, one from Abu Dhabi. I have a beautiful, like, flowers in my house. So, and the coolest thing is, I have 14 grandkids. And Alhamdulillah, one of them is already a Hafiz. And just imagine when I'm praying behind him in Taraweeh, it's such a pleasure that I have achieved something.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah.
And again, one of the grandson is in the 5th stage. But all of this was possible because of my wife. She has been through my thin and tough times, and as I mentioned, she's a very content person, and she was a hard work housewife in Pakistan and even in Canada.
Right.
So my leaving those opportunities, the jobs which I had in Pakistan, and coming to Canada was my biggest achievement.
Absolutely. That is fantastic. So nice to hear about all those wonderful flowers, and your now the younger generation, the 3rd generation is also achieving something. That is so beautiful, mashallah. Sir, who inspires you and keeps you motivated up until today?
As I said, my father was my first inspiration in my childhood. But then when I was working in the bank, my manager, he understood what I am doing and how hardworking I was and how eager to learn I was. So he always supported me. And he, Mr. Mustafa Kamal Khan, Allah Jannat Naseeb Kare, he was an engineer from NED but a financial wizard.
Yeah.
So he was always guiding me, like do this, like do that, and he was like an elder brother teaching me in the bank. So, and he always wanted to be in front, be in the limelight, don't be a backbencher.
Right.
So if I have an example, if we have time, I can just...
Please.
Okay. Once what happened, Ammar, that we got a complaint from the ombudsman, and the complaint came to the managing director that one of the entrepreneurs of a project has complained that he was not fairly dealt, as the rescheduling which was given to other projects in the same subsector was not given to him.
Right.
So can you come and explain? This was to the managing director of the bank. And you know, managing directors at that level, they don't know what the minor nitty-gritties have been done and how the report was prepared and who prepared the report.
Right.
So he told the chief officer that you come along to the ombudsman. And the chief officer told that manager, Mustafa Kamal Khan, that you be there. And Mustafa Kamal said, like, you come with the project report. You prepared it, and you will have to explain it to the ombudsman. He could have explained it too. My chief officer could have explained it too, but he wanted me to be there and tell the story to the ombudsman how that report was prepared, and it was fair and it was not unfair. So as soon as the ombudsman asked, like, he didn't particularly ask me or anyone, he just threw a general that this is the complaint and how would you respond to it? So the manager told me, like, can you explain what happened? So I told the ombudsman directly that we had gone through 5 years of financial statements, the balance sheets and the income statements and the ratios and what was going on in that subsector of the industry. and what was the logic and what were the formulas used to give a rehabilitation package to one and did not give the same rehabilitation package to the other. So he understood that where I was coming from and that it was a fair deal. So he then and there dismissed the complaint, and not only he dismissed the complaint, he pointed at me and said, "Son, you will rise very soon," in front of the entire high-level officers sitting there. All were like above me. Even the managing director was sitting. So that's how Kamal Sahab brought me to the limelight.
Fantastic. Yeah.
And I would just add a few, a few more words here.
Please.
That, you know, when there is a team, there's always some scuffle going on. Somebody likes you, somebody doesn't like you. So, and these words were written in the internal memos of the bank that the ombudsman had, you know, been pleased with the presentation of Laiq and this and that. So my managing director also sent me a personal letter of appreciation. And the other people who didn't like me would say, "Son, you will set very soon." So I would just smile and say that this is not the sun, S-U-N, I'm looking for. Mine is the moon, which is the meaning of my wife's name, Qamar.
Okay.
So I was interested there, not in the S-U-N.
Okay. So debating on the sun with an O or U, you chose to be an eagle and to rise.
Sure.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. And now we are moving towards the most integral part of the show. It's not just about your achievements or your hardships in life and what you have done so far for yourself or your family. Now, the most important idea of the show is to ask our contributors of the society on how are you giving back to the society or your people, sir?
Ammar, I have been living in Milton for about 20 years now. And there's a local food bank which is run by MAM. By MAM, I mean Muslim Association of Milton.
Right.
And I'm a senior member of MAM. And I've been helping food bank for many years now. And the other thing which I do is, like, if I give with my right hand, I don't let my left hand know what I have given. So that's
which is the right way to it. Absolutely. Okay.
So
any particular initiatives or projects you are working on, if you want to add on?
yes, of course. I have a friend, Rahil Siddiqui, and I know him for over 40 years now. And incidentally, like, his family and my family traveled in the same plane to Canada while migrating. I had a family of 9 and he had a family of 5.
Okay.
And he is also from IBA Karachi. So we are friends since then. So he has taken an initiative. It's a project named as Madadgar. What they do is they try to find underprivileged people who, if could be supported by some finances, could grow their income, or they could bring betterment in their lives.
Right.
So that's the reason Madadgar provides interest-free short-term loans to these people. The group consists of close-knit family and friends only. There are no NGOs involved, no government support or anything. It's just a private sort of organization, mainly run by Rahil. And we all contribute whatever we can in that group.
Right.
And the repayments are fantastic. Like, I would say that hardly negligible. It's only like 2% is bad debt. Otherwise, everything is coming back and reinvested in people.
Oh, that's wonderful that you have a 98% of recovery rate. I think when you have the right niyyah of doing things, and that's a very thoughtful initiative. Thank you so much for Madadgar, and I would like to learn more about that maybe offline. Sir, moving onwards, thank you so much for your initiatives and your thoughts about how you're giving back to the community. I know for a fact that I have seen you contributing in so many other levels, be it on the religious side or the community side. Let's move forward and making it a little lighter on the note. So what advice would you give to your younger self, a young teenager like?
Ammar, that's a tough one. You have been bowling throughout leg breaks and now this is a googly. So I would like to advise Laiq at two junctures.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, when he was in his teenage, I would tell him, the world is full of painful challenges. Face them with a smile and
Right.
you won't feel the pain.
Beautiful.
And at the second juncture, when he was thinking that should I leave my job, should I go to Canada, start from scratch and this and that. So at that moment he needed an advice, sure. And I would advise him in the great poet and philosopher Allama Iqbal's lines. सितारों से आगे जहां और भी हैं, अभी इश्क के इम्तिहान और भी हैं.
Right.
कनात न कर आलमे रंगो बू पर. You know what the poet is trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you have, those perks, those high-fi salaries, those status, don't depend on that. Don't be content on that. कनात न कर आलमे रंगो बू पर, चमन और भी, आशियाँ और भी हैं.
Right.
So that's what my advice would be to Laiq on the second juncture.
Very nice. So the sun is rising.
The sun is rising.
Absolutely. That is fantastic, sir. How would you like to be remembered? That's my personal favorite.
A helper.
Beautiful.
Just a helper.
Just a helper. That is good, and that's what combines and relate to your initiative Madadkar as well. Sir, thank you so much for all your wonderful, insightful journey. Mr. Laiq, I would really request you if you have a message for the youth and aspiring professionals.
For the inspiring professional, I would say that the world is changing fast.
Mm-hmm.
With the AI and so many research and developments, things are coming up new and you should adopt. First of all, be abreast with those and then try to adopt those changes.
Right.
And number two, for the youth, I would say, be kind to your parents and pay heed to their advice, because they are the only ones who would like you to be better than themselves.
Absolutely.
And whenever you speak to them, speak with humility and never ever even say oof to them.
True.
So that's my message for the youth.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your wonderful advice. Thank you so much. As we close today's powerful conversation with Mr. Laiq Mirza, one message stands really tall. Success is not a destination. It's a decision we make every day. From a young boy facing certain hardship to a leading leader shaping the industries, to a man courageous enough to start over in a new country, Mr. Laiq Mirza reminds us that the journey is never about the fall. It's always about the rise. No matter where you are in life, you can rewrite your chapter. You can rebuild. You can rise again. Thank you so much for watching us tonight at the Journey with Ammar Sheikh. We had a wonderful guest, Mr. Laiq Mirza. And I'll be signing off. We'll be coming back with another episode, with another inspiring story. Till then, keep dreaming, keep achieving, and keep writing your own journey. Thank you so much. Take care of yourselves.